Welcome to the Right Hand Roadmap, the podcast for seconds in command of founder-led companies. I'm your host, Megan Long, owner of Second First. In each episode, we show you the path to success on your journey as the #2 leader in entrepreneurial companies. I am so happy you are here. In today's episode, we're talking about disengaged leaders or disengaged managers and possible ways to re-engage them. So what we're going to do, we're going to try this as almost like a audio, or if you're watching it on YouTube, video workshop. So if you are currently experiencing this, we're going to go through the steps that we would if we were just working one-on-one together. Okay, so let's try it. There are several reasons why someone might begin to be disengaged at work. I've identified 6 reasons for that declining participation. The first is managerial burnout. Second is Peter principle. Third is lack of vision, or WIFM. We will cover that later on. And then the Pygmalion effect, or 6, external or personal issues. So first, let's look at managerial burnout. What does this look like? This can look like cynicism, lack of accomplishment, or just exhaustion. So if you think that your leader has become disengaged because of managerial burnout, here are some questions to either ask them or ask yourself in ways that you can help and re-engage them. First, do they have boundaries? This is usually a big one where maybe they brag about working until 10 p.m. every night or every single day of the week. You know, that's not a flex. So help them set some healthy boundaries. Second, do they practice time management or prioritization or proper planning? It might be a case where you have to step in and help them really plan their calendar, go through the ideal week exercise, help them understand what is a priority and what can truly wait and be set aside. Some people can't really do that Eisenhower matrix of what is urgent and important. They need to be told. Next, do they practice stress reduction techniques? Do they have a supportive community? Those aren't things that you can really have a direct impact in, but you can certainly help them identify that those are things that they're missing. And then last, are they rewarded or recognized for their efforts? A lot of people have to have that recognition in order to stay engaged. Otherwise, they burn out. So if they feel like they're just working for no payoff, or if there's not necessarily that, feeling of completion at the end of a project, figure out if they like to be recognized either privately or publicly and regularly work that in. And then last, is their workload sustainable? And that is on you as their manager or leader to make sure that you track that and make sure that you don't just have them full throttle constantly. Okay, the second reason for possible declining engagement or participation is Peter principle. This was introduced by Dr. Lawrence J. Peter. Peter principle is the concept that suggests that employees will be promoted to their level of incompetence. So someone is great at their job, they are, quote, rewarded by being promoted, and now they're not good at their job anymore. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. There's a few ways to kind of navigate this. So first is the concept from the book Traction of right person, right seat. So if you know that it's the right person for your company, is there a better seat or a better role for them in the business? And if you're like, Megan, I don't know if they're the right person for the business because they're just not engaged, they're not performing, Google the 9-box grid. This is a tool that will really help you honestly chart your team or chart this disengaged employee to figure out, okay, where do they fall on that right person spectrum? So 9-box grid. I will also link it in the show notes. Next is pay. Are you rewarding top performers with pay and with strong incentive plans, or are you only rewarding top performers with promotions? People won't feel like they have to be promoted into a manager role where they might fall into this Peter Principle trap if you have strong incentive plans. And then last is prestige. So I want to talk about dual career ladders. And I think from everything I've read, Microsoft was the first one to do this, where they recognized this problem of promoting people into incompetence. So they started offering two different career ladders. One was technical, and the other one was managerial. They had almost identical pay, they had almost identical prestige, but if someone clearly was not cut to be a manager and lead people, they could go on the technical track. And if someone maybe didn't have the operations chops or the technical chops, they could go down the managerial path. So this is another way if you have a disengaged manager or a disengaged leader because you realize that you promoted them into a position that they're just not good at, consider a way that you can introduce these dual career ladders so they can have the same prestige and they can have the same pay level, but maybe not lead people. Okay, the next reason that someone might become disengaged is lack of vision or a lack of WIFM. Okay, so WIFM is what's in it for me. I think by now everyone has heard this JFK visiting NASA story, but I still love it. So in 1961, JFK visited NASA and took a tour of their facilities, and he introduced himself to a man cleaning and asked him what he did for the company. And the janitor replied with, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." That is such a strong, united vision. No matter the job, everyone knew what they were working towards. So you truly have to have that in your company. You have to have that picture painted for everyone. WIIFM, or what's in it for me, means the vision has to check their personal boxes as well. So you have to figure out what is important to that individual. Is it income? Is it stability? Is it flexibility? Is it time? What is it? Figure out how to message that vision to that person to show them how it will check their boxes of the what's in it for me. And last, the vision has to be both inspiring, but also believable. It has to be realistic. They have to truly see themselves as part of that future. All right, next is the Pygmalion effect. So the Pygmalion effect is a psychological phenomenon where when higher expectations are placed upon individuals, it leads to an increase in their performance or behavior in alignment to those expectations. So they will rise to whatever is expected of them. Well, the opposite is also true. People will fall to the level of expectation placed upon them. And if expectations are lowered of a person, which happens usually when you are silently avoiding confrontation, right? Like, you know, someone's disengaged, you know, someone isn't performing their best. So instead of talking to them about it, you're like, well, I just expect less out of them. They will continue to keep falling and falling and falling wherever you place that bar for them. So they're just going to keep disappointing you more and more because you're expecting less from them. A manager's performance will drop to that new baseline. And then unfortunately, it could just be due to external or personal issues. So this could look like substance abuse, physical or mental health problems, or a personal or family crisis. If you know that your leader or manager is disengaged due to one of these, engage with your HR and figure out the best way to move forward. To find show notes and links to anything mentioned in this episode, visit secondfirst.com/17. Be sure to subscribe to catch future episodes and leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. And remember, you don't have to navigate being a second in command alone when you have the right-hand roadmap.